IQAC coordinator, to introduce Mr. Ravishankar BS.
Good afternoon, one and all. Esteemed resource person, Mr. Ravi Shankar, and all the participants dear of the PHILOMENA'S College, faculty as well as students. Welcome back to the third session. As Dr. Reena Francis pointed out, we are flowing from understanding the basic necessity of research culture, how it should be, towards writing an article, the steps to be taken in the article, and to this final is session, we have touching upon what should be its merits, how do you count its metric. To talk about that, we have a wonderful resource person, Mr. Ravi Shankar. Mr. Ravi Shankar has a basic degree in electronics engineering from the University College of Engineering in Bangalore, from Bangalore, and also has got a research background in aerospace engineering from the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. After his initial stint there, he joined the Department of Atomic Energy for Power Projects Division, where his responsibilities were primarily in the installation, test, and commissioning of digital control systems and PLC systems which are used in atomic power plants. Parallelly, he was also responsible for setting up troposcatter and line-of-sight antenna systems used by the Ministry of Communications. After 12 years with the Department of Atomic Energy, he joined a French oilfield services company called Skullberger, who had a very strong global presence in automatic test equipment for testing VLSI boards used in radar applications. In this domain, he has responsibilities where in maintaining radar and avionics systems deployed by the defense and space ministries with mixed signal, like analog and digital testing capabilities. After spending 4 years there, and which also led to a lot of working in research labs of Philips and Eindhoven, where he has assigned a particular developing electronic warfare and electronic countermeasure system for use in NATO deployed applications. So the research person is having his engineering degree as well as the scientific temper. Later he joined a global company called IMRaD in Bangalore, where his interests are in training and managing the company's large base of consortia clients across the country. Today, with the CEO of that company, Mr. Satyanarayana, he is leading as a gateway to a lot of research-oriented articles and understanding the metrics and training the scientists on the importance of research metrics, especially when it comes to H-index, Chicago Journal Research Rankings, NAS rankings, and so many others. So how important it is for an individual to have all these metrics. So on behalf of St. Philomena's College and on behalf of IQAC, I wholeheartedly welcome Mr. Ravi Shankar to take over this session. Over to you, Dr. Ravi Shankar.
Thank you, Ronald. It's a pleasure to be here today with you. I'm very happy that I have been selected as one of the speakers for the program that has been going on since the morning. I also wish to express my thanks to the management of PHILOMENA'S College, because the whole thing is a very concerted effort. So therefore, a number of people have been instrumental in making this happen. It started with Ronald. He called me about 3 days ago. He expressed his intent and his desire to have me on the panel of speakers. So I was very delighted. And apparently we have met about a year ago at the University of Mysore, when there was a similar kind of a program that was held under the auspices of, I think it was a very large gathering which was organized by the University of Mysore. So we met there, and then somehow the world is very small, as you can see. So we are meeting here today for the second time. And once again, thanks to you, Ronald. I'm very happy to be in your midst today. So now, in this program that I have been asked to manage and handle, I have two things to talk to you about. See, one is the concept of publishing a paper. Where do you publish? How do you publish it? Now, these are two different entities in itself. Where do you publish is one entity. How do you publish to get a paper in the first try? So the first try means, see, I don't want to have a, see, it's always good to see a paper coming up in a journal that has a high impact factor. It's always good to be recognized by people. But what if your journal is not actually accepted? Now, for this, I felt it would be more appropriate if I could sometime visit St. Philomena's College and do this in person, because we could have an interaction that is across the table, would answer many questions as compared to a virtual webinar kind of a program, and will give you a fast track route to publishing a paper. Now, where did I get these concepts about fast track publishing? Is from the Indian Institute of Science. I was taught a lot of tricks, and believe me, they do work. You see, when I meet students across a discipline of different subjects, their primary criteria is, how do I select a journal? How do I put in a paper? And what are the chances of it being accepted is a big question. So anyway, I'll talk to you if time permits on this. But like I said, it would be more appropriate if you could meet in person at Mysore and do it. Now, in this slot that we have now, I propose to spend some time on showing you the JGate portal, which has metrics primarily in the NAS. NAS is the National Academy of Agricultural Sciences, which is a Delhi-based ICAR metric. Now, from St. Philomena's point of view, I would not really look at the NAS rating, because it is not really significant for a faculty member or a research student to be looking at NAS, because the application is primarily in the field of agriculture, in the very broad disciplines of agriculture. The other index that is there is the H index. Okay. Now, the H index was coined after a gentleman by the name of Professor George E. Hirsch, who was a scientist in the US, primarily working in the areas of physics. He was a professor, actually. He was working in the areas of condensed matter physics. And then he proposed a H index, which has a context which I'll explain to you as we go on today. The other metric that we have is based on artificial intelligence and big data. So this is called the Cite AI, SCITE, not CITE. It is SCITE.ai. Now you can read more about this, because they use neural models and neural networks to analyze publication. Now we also have, not in our portal, but we also have something that is called the Altmetrics, alternative metrics, which is becoming quite popular these days. Now, Altmetrics has got a, I don't know if it has the same kind of a clout as compared to the impact factor or any of the older metrics, because now with the social media that is attached to looking at the publication impacts, you will find that analysis is done in real time. That means as soon as a paper is put up for publication, you can track it. So tracking it is a big, immediately you have people following it on Twitter, you have people following it on Facebook, you have people following it on Google, multiple avenues are open. So that we will look at these things as we proceed today. Then the other thing that you come across normally, or which students have always expressed to me, scientists have also talked to me about this, is the impact factor. All of us are familiar with the impact factor. Now, the impact factor is a number. Now, it is a number based on a 2-year window. The number of citations, I'll tell you what the equation is like, and you can understand better. You already may be aware of this. Now, when you use the impact factor, what is the basic? I would not like to use the word disadvantage, but what could the drawback be? Have you ever thought about this? See, the impact factor does not take into account 2 or 3 very prominent things. Now, the first thing is, when you use the impact factor, you have to concentrate on your similar discipline. You can't try to compare, say, life sciences with humanities. That is wrong, because the picture is totally skewed. You will have to compare life, apple to apple, orange to orange. No comparison between, say, medicine and mathematics. That's wrong. So you need to be very careful about what you select. Now, the impact factor was based on a 2-year window. Now, what happened over a period of time? 2-year window became short. It became a little too short, and they brought in the 5-year window. Now, what is the advantage of the 5-year window or the 2-year window? It gives you a better picture. See, the analysis is a little picture, but keep in mind that when you look at the impact factor of a journal and you want to publish a paper, you need to primarily concentrate on like-minded subject areas. Do not say that, see, Cell, if you look at the high impact factor journals, I think Cell has something like 32.5. Nature is somewhere close by. It could have gone up also, but they are in the 30s. So what does a student typically feel? Can I put my paper into Nature or Cell or Science? Well, it's not difficult as long as you know how to write the paper. See, when I first attempted writing a paper, it looked, oh, you put in a lot of, make it long, make it. That's not the idea. That's not the game plan. You've got to keep it short. And I didn't publish in Cell or Nature or any of these journals. I published in an engineering journal, which has a much lower impact factor. But the reason why I chose that journal was basically because it borders around my interest, and I know that there will be people who would read this rather than if I'd put it into, say, physics. You get my point? See, if I put it into physics, it would still have a readership. It will still garner some readership, but putting it into an engineering journal would garner more readership. So that is what I thought, and I was told about this by various people, so I tried it. Well, it came back with the 2 reviews and all that, so I had to manipulate. I had to do some graph jugglery. These things kind of happen. Now, those days, you had to physically send a paper by post, wait for a month, wait for 2 months, God alone knows how long. But today, with the online this thing, publishers and editors are likely to look at your paper in a much shorter time frame. So keep that in mind. Now, the metrics that are there today are far too many. I think people are actually really getting confused about which metric to use. Now, if I were in your position, what I would do is I would look at maybe 5 or 6 metrics. First thing I would do is, where am I going to publish my paper? Is it going to be in a science journal? Is it going to be in a life sciences journal? Is it going to be in arts or humanities? I would then analyze the list of journals where my article could probably get into. After that, I will use maybe a half a dozen metrics. One could be impact factor, nothing wrong with it. Impact factor is still in use, impact factor is still sought after. One could be the impact factor. 2 is, there is the H index. You know, the H index was, like I told you, it was coined after this guy, Georgi Hirsch. And the H index was originally applied to the productivity of a scientist. Now, when you have a scientist and when you say that his H index is 100, what does it mean? What is the definition of a H index saying 100? A H index of 100 means, let's take one typical example. Professor C.N.R. Rao, who was the former director of the Indian Institute of Science and also the advisor to the Prime Minister's Science Advisory Committee several years ago. he was the first Indian to have got the H index of 100. Now, what does this mean? It means if he has published, let us say 1,000 papers, or let's take 900. Let's not go into four figures. Let's say 900 papers is total number of papers that he has published. At least 100 of these 900 papers, each has got a citation of 100. You got it? See, if I have a H index of let's say 10, it means if I have published 100 papers till now, at least 10 of my 100 papers each has got a citation of 10. Now, how do you track this backward? Backward meaning, how do you percolate this, or how do you extrapolate this to a journal? If a journal has a H index of, let us say, 30, that means from the time the journal came into publication, whenever it could be 5 years old, it could be 10 years, it could be 100 years old. If you say the journal has a H index of 100, the same thinking applies to a journal. That means if it has published 30,000 articles over a lifespan of, say, 10 years, at least 30 of those 30,000 papers each has got a citation of 30. So that is the definition. And now the H index is becoming a little more widely accepted. I find this happening in the research circles. Most people are also talking about H index of a journal also. So therefore, it is one important factor to keep in mind. Now, what about the other things that we have? We have a whole lot of this thing. Now, I told you about a 2-year impact factor. I told you also about a 5-year impact factor. We have a site score. Then we have let me just pull out all these points that I wrote down. The H5 index. What is the H5 index? It is similar to the H index, but it is used for articles published in the last 5 years. Okay. Now, there is a very interesting this thing. Now, if you need to compare interdisciplinary, see, I told you the impact factor is good for. I'm from the biochemistry department. I work in biotechnology. Compare biotechnology with biotechnology. Now, this means there is a limited this thing. So if you look at the broad picture, the broadest picture is, can you name a citation metric which looks at normalizing the data and gives you a level playing ground? When I talk about a level playing ground, it means if I come from mathematics, it is very likely that my paper will not get cited for at least 4 or 5 years. If I come from the life sciences, if I come from medicine, not so much in engineering, but if you're really in the life sciences and those sought after disciplines today, those papers are likely to get cited much faster than my paper, which is in mathematics. So how do you define this problem? There's a company called the metric is called Scimago. Okay, Scimago journal rank normalizes this difference between life sciences and arts, humanities, and mathematics, and so on. So what does it do? It uses the PageRank algorithm, which was developed by these two guys, the founders of Google. One is the Russian guy, I forget his name, Sergey Brin, and the other chap is Larry Page. Now, when they were at Stanford University, they developed a PageRank algorithm. Basically, what it says is, if you get a citation from a journal that is highly ranked, it has got a higher value. Okay. If you get a citation from a journal which is not so highly ranked, it has a certain lower value. So they put all these values together and did a Markov chain analysis, and they came up with this PageRank algorithm. Ultimately, this was their master's PageRank algorithm thesis, and it's the foundation for many of the citation metrics that are in use today. They use normalization factor simply says so lower value, and we'll multiply that by the same normalization factor. Is the playing That means no description has, and let us say mathematics or social science or any other thing. So the picture was very broad. So you could compare like to like. Okay. So it was not basically comparing apple to apple. You could compare between different segments. So this is used in our JGate. We use the Schemago journal rank in JGate. We use the H index, which is also a popular metric. And the third one that we use is the one based on the artificial intelligence and data mining. It's called Cite.ai. I mean, it's called SCITE. I'll talk to you about this when I show you the product on screen. Now, we are talking about metrics. We are talking about how to publish a paper. This is all actually getting into one chapter. Now, publishing a paper means you all heard about this standard IMRaD formula about how to publish a paper. Now, the IMRaD formula was good some time ago, but editors are becoming very smart now. They look at originality. You need to look at originality. How original is the article? What is its impact? What is its likely impact? Not impact, its likely impact on the advancement and growth of science or whatever subject you're on. Now, these things have become important, and many students are trying to say that I'll start publishing, I want to publish a paper where the journal has a very high impact factor. Go ahead, please do it. Please do it. At the most, you may have one or two, not retraction, you may have one or two revisions to make. That can be done. But there are shortcut methods proven methods where you can circumvent the reviews also. So we can talk about this, but I don't think today's platform is the right one. We'll have to meet specifically on some date at St. Philomena's, and we could look at it. But I think you have already had an exposure to this in today's lectures, so you could probably think on those lines for the time being. Now, do you also know that there is the open access avenue that is open to you? The open access consists of the gold open access and it consists of the green open access. Now, what do? Why don't you publish in an open access journal? The trend is slowly shifting into the open access domain. See, costs associated. You have to pay the editors. The number of papers are dwindling on one side and increasing on the other. It's dwindling, let's say in mathematics, it's in languages and all that. Life sciences, it is going up. Feature the life are the ones that are basically thriving today. Now they make a margin out of this depending on the model that the publisher intends to use. Now, that is beyond the scope of this discussion. Open access means they follow the same available at a cost. Don't be misled by the fact people think open access means, oh, the quality is not good. Not so. Not so. Most of the fields, the open access journals have a very high respect, and people should actually start looking at open access journals to publish their research work. Nothing wrong with it. Now, added to this, be it open access or be it the ones that are published regularly, you may need to cough out something called the article processing fee. The article processing fee varies. Now, I'll give you an example. I've written it down somewhere here. Just give me a minute. I wanted to highlight the costs that are associated with the article processing fee. I'll just tell you in a minute. Okay. Now I told you there is a gold open access route and there's a green open access route, right? Now, if you need to publish in a journal, yeah, see, there is a journal here. In the open access domain, I have sort of zeroed in or homed in on one journal called Applied Computing and Geosciences. Okay. Now, if you are going to publish a paper in this, the cost, the article processing fee runs as high as $750. Now, we'll talk about this article processing fee in a little more detail. Now, if you look at a hybrid model where the journal is both open access as well as paid subscription, for a journal title called Advances in Space Research, the cost is going to be $2,600. Now, you tell me with a very straight and unbiased opinion, which of these two would you prefer? I would not prefer either of them. It's too high. So who pays the article processing fee? Typically, if you're from St. Philomena's College, the institute would bear some part of the article processing fee. If you belong to a society, that society will fund it. Typically, ideally, an individual would not be in a position to pay this kind of money. So therefore, the question is, are there any open access journals? Are there any open access journals where you don't pay an article processing fee? Hundreds of them are available. Why hundreds? Thousands of them. Now they're all available. If you do a Google search, you will find all of them there, where the article processing fee is not required to be borne by the author, and you can comfortably publish in those also. Let's take this thing. There's one more example that I have jotted down here. Now, there's a journal called Nature Communications. Okay, do you know what the article processing fee is here? If you are residing in the UK, you will have to pay 3,790 UK pounds. If you are residing in the US, you will have to pay $5,380. And if it is the rest of Europe, you'll have to pay 4,380. By multiplying, it's a huge amount for a person to be paying. If your paper is accepted in Nature Communications, the organization has a tremendous boost. You yourself also have a tremendous boost. But the point is, who bears the cost? How do you share the cost? Institute, society, group of organizations, whatever be this thing. Now, the article processing fee for Nature Communications can be waived totally if you are from a third world country. This definition of a third world country, I'm not this particular topic. I don't know if India is anywhere in this thing. I think we are an emerging economy. But if the World Bank says that, let us say Afghanistan is a third world country, then if you are a scientist in Afghanistan, you can request for a total waiver of the article processing fee. Okay, so now I'll give you journals which are totally free of article processing fees. One is the Journal of Pharmaceutical Analysis. It has an impact factor of 4.4. The other one is a journal called Journal of Abstracting and Indexing. Third one is the Journal of the King Saud University in Saudi Arabia. Fairly good impact factor. So I just picked this because it came up, and then I said, let me share it across with you. Okay, now there is this concept of Scopus and Web of Science, right? And Google Scholar. All these three are citation indexes. Now, what is Web of Science? When was it started? Who started it? Eugene Garfield started it a long time ago. It was based on the Arts and Humanities Sciences Index and the Social Sciences Citation Index. Totally, I think if my data is not wrong, it could be a little higher, but my data could be a little dated. However, I think the numbers are Web of Science, which is now part of Clarivate Analytics, gives you about 12,000 journals and about 160,000 conference proceedings. Scopus, on the other hand, which is also a citation database with links to full text, gives you 38,000 titles from about 12,000 publishers. Now, our JGate product is purely based on the Web of Science and the Scopus Citation Index. We don't include predatory journals. A word of caution for all of you people: please don't jump into this, into this bandwagon which says you pay me 5,000 rupees and tomorrow you will see the article in this journal. These are all predatory journals. They are fly-by-night operators, and nothing is going to come. You will lose your 5,000 rupees. Predatory journals are there, and there's a Beal. This gentleman's name is, I don't know what Beal he is, but his it's spelled like this: BEALL. Okay, so he has compiled a list of predatory journals, and it's not a warning, but it's a caution that don't try to publish in those journals because they have no peer review process. They have no peer review process at all. All journals in JGate are peer reviewed. Now, what is a peer review? Peer review, you all know, is some 2 or 3 experts in the field have to mandate your article before it gets published. Now, there are different types of peer review that exist in the industry. See, it's like this. See, if I want to publish a paper in, let us say, Nature, I send my article to the editor. Okay. Now, the editor is available on the website, so I can send it across to him. Now, after it is sent to him, he has a list of panelists, and these panelists are his reviewers. Now, he will send it to 2 people who are experts in this field. Which field? My field. So, both of them have to say yes. Now, in my case, what happened was, several years ago, one of the reviewers seems to have said, I don't even know who the reviewer is. One of the reviewers seems to have said, the graph should be logarithmic on the x-axis and linear on the y-axis. So I had to change the graph, send it back. After that only it was accepted. So that means there is a review process. So likewise, when you talk about a review, types of reviews. One is called a blind peer review. I don't know who those other people are. I can't say, I will take you out for lunch or I'll take you out for dinner, but please push my article through. I don't even know their email IDs. I don't know where they come from. So this is called a blind peer review. There's another type of a review where the reviewers are known to the author. The reviewers are known to the author. If the reviewer is known, generally this happens in the slightly classy or edge, the highly sought after journals, but they can't be the person who's also going to author a paper in these popular journals are not. It's not the first time user. I mean, first time author who's publishing a paper. It would be somebody who's generally well known, and he would not go to the extent of saying that, look, I know you, you know me, we work together at so and so place, so why don't you just push my paper through? Even if the paper is not pushed through, the author can approach another journal which has got an equivalent or a similar kind of impact factor as compared to the one that he was trying for. So these are things that you have to keep in mind. So JGate has got all peer-reviewed articles. They're all Scopus indexed or Web of Science indexed, and we do not harbor any predatory journals in our website. So this is what I wanted to share with you as regarding this thing. Now, since I was actually telling Ronald that I'm really not an expert to talk about the citation metrics and all that, but he said, do keep it simple. So in its most simple and raw form, I tried to put some thoughts across and then said that these things could be of interest to you. So one is, if you're publishing a paper, look very broadly. Think about articles, think about the journals which are in the same discipline. Address the audience that you intend to talk to. See, talk to somebody who's going to be in your line, so that you build that peer review, you get that attention. Do not get into some journal where, just for the sake of publishing, remember, just for the sake of publishing, you published an article, but 10 years down the line, it doesn't gain any momentum as insofar as citations are concerned. So you have to be a little careful about these things. You need to have citations because the college looks forward to receiving citations. It looks forward to being somewhere. It's a collective this thing. No, now this Chicago Journal Rank has got country rankings. It's got institutional rankings. So you need to look at these things very broadly. Now, what else did I want to talk to you about? Yeah. See, if you look at a journal, typically, what do you notice in the contents? You will see a lot of research articles, right? Number one. You will see letters to the editor. You will see book reviews. You will see conference proceedings. You will see a lot of other things, awards to some brilliant scientists for having achieved this, whatever. All these things are there in the this thing, in the table of contents. Now, which which are the ones that are worthy of being cited? What do you think are the ones that are worthy of being cited? Obviously, it is the research paper that is that is the one that is going to be cited. Now, what Scimago Journal Rank have done are, as compared to Web of Science, which used review articles, letters to the editor, and even conference proceedings, they took all those into the citation calculation. Scopus and Scimago Journal Rank, the Scimago Journal Rank metrics, have taken only research papers into the calculation. They have not used, letters to the editor and all that, because they're good in it by themselves, but they're not worthy of a citation. The citation has to have some impact on the advancement of science. These things are, I will talk to you about something saying that, erratum, I think he should have done it with some different type of a chemical rather than this. How would it have been if you had used this? So those things actually do not matter. So you'll have to be careful about the this thing. So review papers are the ones that attract the highest number of citations. Okay, now, yeah, I would also like to add here that if you look at the Taylor and Francis publications, now the Taylor and Francis journals are typically, again, broad spectrum, though may not be very rich in engineering, but they're rich in the sciences, they're rich in arts, humanities, and a lot of other things. And it's a very, very big publishing group. Now, if you look at Taylor and Francis, articles published after 2012, articles published after 2012 have this Altmetrics. It's actually a colored donut. Okay. Now, if the donut is basically a single color, then what happens is, it means that once the article has been published, it is very popular on, let's say, Twitter. Now, take another example. So therefore, it has one color. You take another example, a similar article published again in a Taylor and has got the colors. Let's say one is red and the other is, say, green. Now, what is this red and what is this green? Red means Twitter communication, so social communication. Green means the review has been published in an international newspaper, or it could be a Google chat, or it could be anything else in the social media. Okay, tweet, it could be blogging, it could be anything. So the more number of colors it has, you can take a look at this by yourself. Just go to Taylor and Francis, look at their journals, pick up one that is after 2012. You will see this donut. So if you have a number of colors in this donut, it means the article has gained sufficient recognition across multiple social media, Twitter, blogging, Facebook, Google chat, and so on. International newspapers, many of them are there. If it has a single color, it means it has garnered attention only through one particular social media. And in the center of this donut, you will find a number. The higher the number, the more sought after it is. Now, why is this getting important? It is becoming important primarily because it is the data is harvested in real time. The minute you publish the paper, it is already getting recognized or comment. So please have a look at this so you can learn more about how the Altmetrics works. Why did we not? There are many people who said, why did you not include the impact factor in the JGate database? The answer is there are so many sites now that give you the impact factor. Now we are in 2020. So if you need to know the impact factor of a journal, if you look at 2020, you'll have to look at the 2-year window, which is 2019 and 2018. And there are hundreds of sites which can pull out the impact factors of these journals in real time. Likewise, Google member, they do not disclose the number of journals. I think they do not disclose the total number of journals that they qualify for a citation ranking. Whereas for Scopus, I told you the answer, and for Web of Science also, I told you the answer. And people today ask for what is the do you cover Web of Science and Scopus index journals in JGate? Answer is 100% yes. 100% yes. No predatory journals, no predatory journals. Coming to the other point now, faculty in any college or any university are expected to publish research papers in the UGC standard. They call it some CARE, I think, CARE. Now, what are the journals that are there in CARE? Same thing that I talked to you about. All have got impact factors, high or low, whatever it is. They may need an article processing fee, or you may get them even without paying a fee. And 3 is these journals are available in JGate. For example, there's a journal called Indian Journal of Science and Technology. It has recently been proposed by the UGC that people can even publish in these kind of journals. So do look at the list. It's available on their UGC site. Okay, so now we've reached 3 o'clock. Now I think I should show you the JGate site. I'll take a typical site and show you. For this, just to show you, see my screen. I'll just
audio kodi.
Somebody can give me a nod saying it's visible or not visible.
No, sir.
No?
No.
Oh, one second. Not visible now?
Yeah, entire screen is come.
Entire screen has come. One second.
Yes, now it has come.
Now this has come. You can see this JGate, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Now, number 1, what is J and what is Gate? J is journal, Gate is gateway. Okay. Now, does it not include books and all that? In course of time, it will include everything. It's already available as a data set. You have access to conference proceedings, you have access to videos, you have got access to everything. So now, but it does not include ebooks. Now I will log in here as I will log in as some college. Let me do one thing. I'll log in as a university. Okay. Don't worry about what is this and user and all that. It will become obvious once. Okay. Now, can you see this? The screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So now I have logged in with the password, username and password of Andhra University. Now, first question that comes to your mind is, how many journals do you have in this JGate? How will you find out? Go to this all, go to browse A to Z. Please look at the subject disciplines, agriculture, arts, humanities, we cover everything. Can you see this 52,624? 52,624. Now, can I assume that St. Philomena's College has got a lot of active research going on in economics? I'm just hypothetically talking. Or in microbiology? Give me any subject area. Ronald? Any subject area.
Chemistry they have.
Okay. Now, chemistry is a very broad discipline. I'll do that search for you. Okay. Now, can you see, we talked till now about the rankings, right? This is the Schimago journal rank, SJR. Here is the H index. Now, for St. Philomena's, NAS is not really an important ranking for you to start looking at because it's primarily in agriculture. Now, why did we include the NAS ranking? We brought it in because we have a big consortia with the Indian Council for Agricultural Research. There are more than 150 or close to 200 universities and research centers of the ICAR, where they rely heavily on the NAS rating. So the National Academy of Agricultural Sciences wanted us to put this, so it is there. But for you, you would probably look at SJR and the H index. Now, I told you about the H index, I told you about SJR. Now, somebody said, well, Ravi Shankar, why can't you put the impact factor also here? Well, it's wishful thinking. We could probably do it as a part of a larger process and then put the impact factor also. But like I told you, the data is already current on many sites that people just need to get there and then click. Of difference. I agree with you. Anyway, so now I'm in this 52,624. I want to know what journals you have in chemistry. Now, if I use inorganic chemistry, I'm being a little specific. If I use organic chemistry, I'm being specific. But if I say just chemistry, now just look at what is going to happen. Starting with the word chemistry, and if I do a search, okay, starting with the word chemistry, if I do a search, I've got 31 journals. Can you see here? 1 to 10 of 31. Chemistry, Africa. So these journals start with the word chemistry. Now, if I change this to containing Journal of Chemistry and Applications, things like that, where chemistry is embedded, I got 616. 616. Sufficient quantity is already there. Now, if you want to see, can you see here? There are 616 journals with chemistry embedded in the title, not starting with. Now, if I go to the top, if you want to, I'll do one search now and show you what will happen. Excuse me. Now, can you see Andhra University is a member of the Shodh Sindhu consortia? Don't worry, what is the Shodh Sindhu and all that? You can check by going to their site. Now, if St. Philomena's was going to be a subscriber to JGate, you will see St. Philomena's College here. Okay, your name will come here. You will not see consortia. You will see my library, you will see my favorite. My library means if you have journals that you are subscribing to out of your own funds or through funds from some grant, if you give us your list of holdings, we'll put it up here. So therefore, it becomes searchable under one umbrella. Now, I will do a search for a research papers where I am actually working on polymer. Okay, polymers. I'll do this. Now, if I click on search here, can you see this huge list that has come up? 7,26,245 under a tab called All, and in another tab called Full Text, I will give you 2,40,933. Now, honestly, please do tell me if you have the time to look at any of these large numbers. Now, these are the articles. So the point is, why don't you use the facets that we provide on the left-hand pane? Now, what are you working on? I'm working on biomaterials. Fine, I'll select this. Can you show me anything more? Sure. I'm working on electrochemistry. I'm working on metals and minerals. You can select as many as you want. You select what you want and come down here and click on apply filters. Once you click on apply filters, can you see I've reduced it by a factor of 90%? 79,833. I think it was 7,98,000, 95,000. This by itself is again too high. You don't have the time to look at 26,116. So I'm giving you enough material to actually start a serious research project. Now, what journals do you typically use? JGate has a journal called Biomaterials. Yes, sir, we do have. Advanced Materials Research. Yes, we have. So after you select this, there are more. If I click on this apply filters, the number will further reduce down to, can you see 5,218? Okay. Now, what does this full text mean? This tab here means all these 30 articles are available at full text. I'll select this first paper, tough magnesium phosphate based whatever. Okay. So if I click on this, you will come to this page where, by the way, by the time it opens, it's open. If you're wondering about how many people can concurrently and simultaneously use JGate, there is no limit. Any number of people. It doesn't say that, only 5 users at a time or 50 users at a time. Any number of people can use it concurrently. And with the current scenario that is there, you can actually access this from your home with the password that we will give you. We will give you your username and password, so you can use it from home. Now, you read the abstract and say, wow, it's damn good. Okay. You come down here. Can you see here? There is the SJR ranking that is available here. And the H index is also given here. And the NASA ranking. Now, it has a fairly high H index. As of 2019, it has a 360 H index value. Now, I told you what the H index is. That means ever since this this journal was published, it could be they could have brought out say 50,000 articles from the time of its inception. At least 360 of them each has a citation. Each has been cited 360 times. Now here are the keywords given by the authors. If you find the keywords are missing, it is not. Many people have told me, Ravi Shankar, have you forgotten the keywords? We have not forgotten. Only if the authors give the keywords, we are putting it up. Many authors don't even give the keywords. Now, I consider this to be a good bibliography because we have different authors and we have the SJR ranking. We have the keywords that are given. Unfortunately, what is missing is the email ID of the author. Now, email ID again has to be furnished by the author. Otherwise, we can't put it up there. Okay. Now, can you see this green lock here? You click on this green lock. What this is? Can you look at the screen and tell me who the publisher is? The publisher is Elsevier Science, and Elsevier is again in that top bracket of the top 5 publishers. They are not easy. If you have to buy any article from them, it would typically cost you $39.95 or $40, $50, so on. Article from this journal called Biomaterials for you at full text level, and people who are fond of Elsevier, I know many people, whenever you ask them which publisher should I search for you, Elsevier if it is the sciences group. Can you see here? So here is your full text of the PDF. Now, this is obviously an open access journal. Okay. If it is an open access journal, it will open from anywhere. Wherever you're sitting, be it at the college campus, it could be at your home, it could be anywhere, wherever you want, you can always download it. And please look at the value addition that is done by the publisher. They are suggesting, would this interest you, would this interest you, would this interest you? And that's how research picks up momentum, because from one research publication, you will need to, you will actually basically need to go through a number of papers and then come up with your formulation. So here is the HTML version of the paper. The PDF is also there, but I will not download it because it could take a little time based on the internet speed. Okay, so now, sorry. Now, the other thing that I wanted to show you was, see, when you publish a paper, this again needs a separate introduction and it needs a separate class. Typically, it needs a half-day workshop at a bare minimum. That means, why should you cite? See, when you publish a paper, why should you cite? That means you're acknowledging somebody. See, in my work, I have found that somebody, let's say Ronald, I have referred to his paper, I have looked at his paper in detail. I've got to acknowledge him, no? I've got to acknowledge him. So when you need to acknowledge, how will you acknowledge? There are different ways of in which you can acknowledge. Now, if you look at the small icons here, can you see there is a site here, the inverted code? Now we have the APA style, the Chicago style, the Harvard style, and MLA and the Vancouver style. Now all you need to do is copy it, and then as you're typing your article, see, your references could come at the end of the paper, right? It could come at the end, or you might simply like to put a full stop at that sentence and give a citation reference there. So you can copy it and put it in whichever format you want at the point where your cursor is blinking. This I will talk to you about later when we do it. So you understood here, right? Now what you need to also take into account is this icon here, which portrays these two heads. This means this journal is a peer-reviewed scholarly journal. What I told you a little while ago, they're not predatory journals. They're not something that is fly by night. They're all highly popular, highly sought after journals, and definitely Scopus and Web of Science indexed. Now here is the ranking. Now supposing you want to look at the ranking, here is your H index ranking. That means if you click on this, you will be in a position to look at the papers in terms of the ranking. Okay, and I told you that you could also look at, see, there are two publishers here. One is Elsevier, very high-end sought after publisher. Somebody can say TransTech Publications is also very well known. Now in TransTech, you have only one paper. Now let me go back to the top and show you the similar example of polymers, but under this tab, 5218. Okay. Now this 5218 has come here. Same subject areas. I'm interested in biomaterials and so on. And if I'll do this on a different window. I want to compare these and show it to you. Okay. I will do this in advanced search where articles. By the way, if you select if you subscribe to JGate, you have the option of getting journal articles. Thesis is not available for you. It's primarily for the universities because this is a repository. You will not have theses. You will have to find polymer all. See, default is it rests here. It will search in the keyword, will search for author address, and I will select title here. And I am also interested in Mysore University. if they have any papers published in, I've got Mysore University here. Now, there are 3 Boolean operators, and, or, and not. Details about this a little later. After you subscribe, we will talk. I'll talk to you. Need to select the author, not also. You can add and comes author. Okay. It'll be it's article. Polymer is published and from Mysore University. Now, if I do this, is available. I'll tell you what. If I do a search now, okay, I'm not looking at theses. Paper, okay, on polymer, and let us see who the authors are. Mechanical engineering, RV India Polymer University. Now, somebody in the audience, what's in Mysore University? Where is that? I gave Mysore University. You take University of Mysore also. I'll do one thing. University. Possibly people at Mysore University who could have given University of Mysore rather than only Mysore University. It or kind reference this thing, but it is price. Oh goodness! Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's a little bit breaking.
Yeah, now it's come back.
Yeah, it's come back. So go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
There are a lot of wherever he's used polymers.
So voice is breaking.
Select his name. Don't forget you need to click on apply filters. Publication. Audibility.
Yeah, now you're audible, but just a few seconds back, voice was breaking. So you can just repeat. Yeah. Okay.
See, what I wanted to do was I'm doing a search for polymer. I'm looking for polymer. it could be anywhere. I'm not particular that it should appear only in the title. It could be in the title, it could be in the keyword, it could be in the abstract, Department of Polymer Science, affiliation, it could be anywhere. Then somebody in the audience said, look for polymer from Mysore University. So I brought in this Boolean operator and I put Mysore University. Somebody said, Ravi Shankar, why don't you put University of Mysore also, because it is quite frequently used. So I plugged in the Boolean operator or here. I'll talk to you about the Boolean operators, and then I use University of Mysore. Now, the research student at St. Philomena's College said, Rangappa is a very well-known scientist, professor in the areas of polymer science. Now, I picked his name, and I picked up called molecular crystals and liquid crystals. Okay, I got this journal also. Now I can even filter down by year. 1987, and if you Mysore Satyasai Institute of Higher Learning. What I have so this is how you do Q&A. Maybe I can hopefully answer some questions.
So your voice is
for you.
breaking. Your voice is
Get
breaking.
into that one. Now also,
Yeah,
is it still?
yeah, you can in another 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, you can conclude because your voice is also breaking. You can stop the presentation and you can conclude through audio.
Okay, let me do one thing. I will try to minimize. I'll stop presenting. Maybe get back to presenting if the bandwidth. Is it any better now?
Yeah, your audio is perfect now. You can proceed.
Okay, okay, okay. So we can have a question and answer session if you would like to.
Yeah, the first and foremost they put it across is that about the technical issues because of the non-connectivity of the presentation as well as the not getting the audio proper. That's the questions they are posing in. But anyway, if my audio is okay for you,
I'm able to hear you. I'm able to hear you. I wonder if you can
this
say
is
yes to my.
this is the gesture that you made initially in your talk regarding the JGate and this one. And for your kind information, we have been subscribing JGate since last year.
Oh,
And,
I see.
yeah. We have all those things, and we have got the passwords given to our faculty as well. And
Wonderful.
can view that from their home, that is 24/7. And also we are facilitated with that my library concept, wherein our almost 70 plus journals, print journals, they are made available through JGate. That has also been done. And subscription is also for conference proceedings as well as a few of the
Audio,
archive.
video.
Yeah, few of the archives that you have, that subscription also we have made.
Then maybe it's the right time to actually take you through the process of.
Yeah. Yeah, and the point that you made is, it's also a time that you can visit St. Philomena's College, one of these, maybe offline, giving them the hands-on session, showing them would be a great idea. Maybe if the
Surely.
pandemic situation improves and there is a new normal created at that time, we can definitely look forward to this, and throw more light on the metrics that you mentioned, especially the H index and the other things. How a review of literature, when they are doing it, and they're selecting the database
The fast track
on
approach to publishing. Yeah.
on what ranking they can, as a novices of as well as an expert, who can just get the topmost ranked journal, and how they can cite that, and get the relevant information for their further studies in their research. uh, it is due to some this technical issues we are not able to connect it properly, and you can just throw your light vis-a-vis how UGC and InflibNet is taking care of the faculty, especially the assistant and associate professors, uh, and how JGate is helping them. If you can just another 2 minutes, you can just show them the window how it is, how they are doing it. It will be more helpful for our college faculty as well.
Yeah, thank you, Ronald. See, if you're looking at how the consortium model is working here, what I want to say is, see, at the base of the pyramid, we have JGate. Now, on top of it, you have the My Library, for which you have actually customized your holdings. Now, there is a consortia tab also, which I showed you in this Andhra University. Now, the consortia tab journals which have been funded by the UGC InflibNet wing, and those journals are made available depending on a matrix that is run up. For example, if you take Mysore University, they get all the journals. If you take a smaller university like let's say SPMV at Tirupati, Sri Padmavati Mahila Vishwavidyalaya, they also work on the similar lines. They have research patterns which are similar to University of Mysore, but they don't get the full consortia holdings. They're lower in that this thing. Now, how they have drawn all this up is something which I really don't know, but they have graded universities. Bangalore University is in the top, this thing, University of Mysore is top, then Madras University. But if you look at tier 2 universities, you have this things like, you have the smaller universities, which are, rich and rich in most fields, but they don't get the complete list of journals which are available. Now, what will they do in such a situation? The idea is, if a student or a faculty member from Sri Padmavati Mahila Vishwavidyalaya intends to get an article for which you don't have direct access, sorry, what you need to do is you get a drop-down window, and from there you can select Mysore University or Bangalore University or whichever is close to Tirupati, and request for the article to be sent to Padmavati Mahila Vishwavidyalaya, and the article will come either by courier if it is not bound digital, or if it is bound digital, they will attach it to your email and send it across to you. So this is how they have facilitated across the country. That means there are about 220 universities, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, deemed universities, and so on, all of whom can share their resources and then make it available even if you don't have direct full text online access. So this is how that model works. And for an individual college, like for example, if you take PHILOMENA'S, or if you take JC, JC is an individual college. So you don't become a member of a consortium. You're not by default a member of a consortium. So this is how that model works. But to get the actual picture, you will have to look at their site and then figure out.
Okay.
They may even give individual colleges membership also. I think it is in the thinking, but I'm not too clear on this. I'm not really clear
Okay.
about when it will happen.
So at the
Yeah.
same time, being an autonomous college, and also apart from subscription to a lot of print journals and printed books that we are getting, we are also
Mhm.
subscribing to IMRaD's the enlist model
Yeah,
from
yeah, yeah,
them,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
together now we have JGate also. So
Okay, okay.
these are all
You have access to
yeah,
it.
these are all the learning
Yeah.
resources now we have. As a librarian myself, and how I can tell the research faculty here, as well as the students who are very much interested in the research, and how I can differentiate them and clearly throw a roadmap into their research activities, and what I can talk to them, in what sense I can give a roadmap to them.
Well, I would suggest that both resources are used, and I would strongly recommend the use of JGate with the objective that you don't fall into a trap called this Google. Google has a notorious trap. It's called the needle in a haystack syndrome. Now, what happens when you search for polymer in Google? I picked up some 7,80,000 or 7,90,000 articles, and the first tab, and in the second tab, I picked up some equally high number. Now, Google will pull up some 27 million articles retrieved in 0.25 seconds. So, my sincere request is faculty and students use Google. We all love Google. It is a household name. But when you're searching for scholarly articles, it is better you go to Google Scholar. Don't go to plain Google. The reason is there is no authenticity. See, I don't know a single word about polymer technology, but who is there to stop me from publishing in Google Plain? Nobody can stop me. But you try doing it in a journal or the 52,000 journals that are available in JGate. All of them are peer reviewed. All of them are peer reviewed. So my very sincere recommendation is don't type Google and then type polymer. Rather than that, go to Google Scholar. Number one. Number two is use JGate. See, JGate will give you articles from the core publishers like the American Chemical Society, Elsevier, Springer, John Wiley. They're all the big five, right? Taylor and Francis. That means one single gateway. You do a single search for polymer, you will find articles from multiple publishers. So you don't have to keep jumping from publisher to publisher. Therefore, it saves you time. So this is one step that faculty and students should definitely keep in their minds. One, don't go to plain Google. Go to Google Scholar. Go to Google Scholar. Don't get into Elsevier. Spend half an hour there. Then go to Wiley. Instead of that, use JGate. Use JGate. Do a search for polymer. You access all articles from all the different publishers in one shot. Single gateway. So this is a very important thing because it saves time, and use the facets. See, when you have a number like 79,000 or 80,000, look on the left hand side. In that pane, decide what you're working on. I'm working on crystallography, select crystallography. You're working on organic chemistry, select organic chemistry. So you need to filter down so that by the end of the day, you say that I have identified a core set of articles which make a lot, which are very meaningful to my research output. How to publish that we can discuss when I visit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, sir. Uh, so, uh, any other final words from you, sir?
Oh, from my side, nothing. I'm only waiting to hear if there is
Yeah.
anything from the audience.
Yeah. You just put in our live chat a few of the questions. Uh,
Sure, sure. Yeah.
yeah. You're just waiting for getting that questions. Uh, but again, out of curiosity, I'm just asking how now during the COVID-19 pandemic situation, and where other institutions have
Yeah.
their own crunch of the grants and the budget, and new higher education policy is also changing. In that scenario, how from the informatics is looking at the whole gamut of gateway and providing knowledge to the researchers, how it's happening, sir?
See how we are reaching out to colleges and to our client base primarily through webinars only, like we have been doing today.
Okay.
We have not yet been able to reach out in person to the individual colleges, but my personal feeling and the feelings that have been expressed by librarians across South India is they are not really in favor of a webinar. They say a one on many or one in-person attendance is always more useful. Now colleges have been closed, so
Yeah.
see, Philomena's also has been closed for about 6 months or 7 months. Classes
Yeah.
are being done online.
Yes.
I have met faculty people who say, I don't know what the student is doing on the other side, but we don't have a choice. We don't have a choice. We have to do the webinars, we have to do things online only. Now, there are a cross section of librarians who are saying that the college is beginning to reopen now. We will have full strength very shortly, and we would not want you to do a webinar like you did some time ago, but we would like you to come down here because it is more meaningful and we can address things on the fly there. So there are different thoughts that are there, but as of now, we are constrained with the fact that we have to use this mode only. This is the only model that is open now.
Yeah. Okay. There is one question from Ravi Shankar, sir. It's about is there any specific journal for commerce and management to publish which is free of cost, where you can publish? That's the question
Yeah,
asked.
commerce and management,
Yes,
and
yes.
you want it in an open access journal.
Yeah, says talks about fast track journal that you mentioned, fast track journal list. Is there
Yeah,
a
if you
possibility for commerce and management domain?
sure, if you can send me an email, but I would not be the best person to give you a suggestion about which is the best journal in commerce and management. I can only sort for you in terms of the impact factor and tell you that this journal has got a high impact factor and it does not have an article processing fee. So therefore, you could try this journal. But how good is my choice is not may not
Yeah.
be appreciated by somebody else, right?
Okay. So it goes with the
So
author.
it goes basically that okay, if I have to answer this question in a snapshot, what I would suggest is there are hundreds of journals that are available in open access mode, and they are available without an article processing fee. Why don't you look at it and then ask the student themselves to pick up that journal? Because I am not the expert for telling you what journal is best suited. You will have to identify this yourself.
Okay. Okay, sir. Okay. So with that, uh, we have come to the conclusion of this session. Uh, Dear participants, even though we had a little bit of audio problem as well as because of the network issue from the resource person side, we're not able to connect through video. Our resource person, Mr. Ravi Shankar, has briefed us and also given a bird's eye view of an important database called JGate. And St. Philomena's College is also one of the main subscriber for this JGate for informatics. And he has also promised that when the situation becomes normal, he is very happy to come down to Philomena's College
I'd be
and
happy to do.
help all the faculty and giving a better demonstration, hands-on demonstration on the usage of JGate. So it's we do appreciate, and also it's a privilege to have you for the third session, sir, on behalf of St. Philomena's College and also on behalf of the internal quality assurance cell of this college. I profusely thank you for coming in the afternoon session. It's a very difficult session to handle, afternoon sessions, but you handled it very well in spite of technical problem. So looking forward to see you personally in St. Philomena's College sometime soon. Thank you very
It
much.
would be my pleasure.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
sir. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Ronald.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Now,
Bye-bye.
dear participants, with this, we have come to the end of this concluding session. And now I request all our faculty to join for an offline session for concluding remarks, that is by Reverend Father Leslie Morris, the Episcopal Vicar, in the indoor stadium at 3:45 p.m. sharp. So see you soon there in the indoor auditorium. Thank you one and all.